And the website is there now, 16personalities.com. www.16personalities.com. Do it after the session. It takes 12 minutes. Drop your link, you'll get back a personality profile, right? And I've been doing this 25 years, working with this system for 25 years now. Myers-Briggs originally comes from the Myers-Briggs personality profile. And nobody has ever said, don't agree with it. Everybody says, it's spot on. It's got me nailed. So if you want to do the test, do it. And then come into the Inception Sales Club and drop your personality type with any questions you've got. But so many of your questions will be answered, right? It'd be really interesting to get your feedback and for you to start to see how well this has you nailed. Because what I'm going to be presenting to you over the next 60 minutes is how to turn this know-how into sales with the people who are not buying from you right now. So I'm going to give you, I'm going to unpack the intelligence behind this personality profiling. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how it applies to buying and selling and make it plain English. All right, so that's the first little resource for you. You can get your own profile done for free. Okay, right. Personality types. Okay, let's just look at this. There are 5 separate categories to our personality, right? 5 functions, let's call them. Okay, 5 functions of our personality. One is energy. Okay, how we get our energy and how we interact with the world through extroversion or introversion. And I'm going to unpack this a bit more in a second. Okay, so the first one is how we get our energy through extroversion or introversion. The next one is how we process information through our intuition or through our senses. The third one is how we make decisions through our thinking or through our feeling. The fourth one is our relationship with time. Do we want to make things happen or are we more happy to watch things happen? And the fifth is our identity. Are we assertive or are we turbulent? Okay, so there's 5 functions: energy, information, decision making, time, and identity. And everything we do falls into one of those 5 categories. So there's 5 functions and there's 2 options in each function. Now, literally, what this framework does is it sums up every element of what makes up a personality. And there's 8 billion people on this planet. And out of those 8 billion people, there's only 16 personality types. You've got one of them. So you need to know what yours is. And also, what are the personality types of your buyers? Who typically are they? You're going to learn more about this. Okay. Who typically are they? You're going to get a mixture. But depending on your ideal client persona, you're going to be selling to or targeting similar kinds of people with similar preferences, right? So this is about understanding people at a deeper level. Okay. There's an old phrase, right? And this is what's changed. You're going to hear this a lot in this session today. Between 1900 selling and 21st century selling, right? I'm 54. So I'm from the 1900s. Okay. No shame in saying it. I'm an 80s kid, right? I've sold in 5 decades, 6 actually, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 20s, 6 decades. Christ, feeling old. But the old school way was people buy from people they like. That's what we were brought up to believe. And it used to work. People buy from people they like. It's not how it is now. People buy from people like them. That's what people buy now. People buy from people like them, not from people they like, from people like them. What it used to be was we used to meet our potential buyers and we would try and charm them, try and get them to like us. We would try and impose our personality on them. It was all about your own energy, enthusiasm, and passion, making your presence felt, charm them, sell them your personality. And it used to work. It doesn't work anymore. right? What we now need to do is we need to become more like them. We need to become more like the person we're with. The old way of establishing rapport when you first met somebody was choose common ground, find something to talk about that you've got in common, show your expertise, get them to like you, make them believe you care. That doesn't work today. People know it's bullshit and that you don't care. Right? What works today is subtle psychology, becoming like them. Right? That's what this is all about. People buy from people like them. This is about spotting the energy and the mannerisms, the physiology, the tonality, the way your buyers behave, and adapting your delivery and your behavior to match theirs. Because then at the subconscious level, they start feeling understood. And most of the time, it's not a conscious feel. It's not a conscious thought. It's not like, oh, this guy's like me. There's just a feeling. I feel safe with this guy. I trust him or her. They're a bit like me. We share values. We share thinking. We seem to like the same things. And it's authentic. You're not going in with a spiel. You're not trying to find common ground. You're simply matching behavior, matching energy. That's what this is all about. It's a refined study of that, how to do it more authentically. Okay. And you've also today, you've got more of your buyers who are Gen Z and millennials. 60% of the people with money in today's environment are Gen Z and millennials, our children, right? In the 30s, 20s and 30s. These new buyers, these new cohorts of buyers trust connection more than anything else. They want to know what you believe. They want to know, are you like them? Do you like the same things? Yeah. But not through some spiel. They want to feel it. And that's what this skill enables you to do without any bullshit. Simply adapting behavior. Let's get into it. Enough of the theory. Right. Let's look at extrovert, introvert. Okay. And we're going to dispel a few myths here. This is about energy. Extroverts get their energy by engaging with the world, engaging with people, engaging with things, by extroverting their energy. Okay. We get our energy as extroverts from being with people. Introverts get their energy internally. They lose energy when they're with people. They gain energy when they're alone. Extroverts gain energy when they're with people, lose energy when they're alone. Extroverts think, so extroverts speak, then think, then speak. Introverts think, then speak, then think. Yeah, extroverts confront reality and discover it as they're going along, discover how they feel about things as they're talking about it. Introverts watch, observe, and then engage. Okay, so we're going to look at how to sell to extroverts and how to sell to introverts authentically, how to get each of those buying from you. Second function, so the first one's energy. Second function is information. We take in information from the world in two ways, through our intuition or through our senses. Let's cover senses first. Okay, because we all take information in through our senses: sight, sound, hearing, smell, touch. But senses, so people who prefer the sensing function, they don't interpret that information. They take that information as fact. They concentrate on what they can see, the fact, the logic, the data, the way things are. Okay, that's what they trust. Intuitives trust possibilities. They look at the information at hand with their senses and then they ask, what's missing? How could things be? What are the possibilities? They're more creative, big picture people. Okay. So the second function is information. Who are your buyers, intuitives or sensors? Third, decision making. Do we make decisions with our thinking or with our feeling? Okay. Thinkers make decisions based on what's the right thing to do, what gets the job done, what makes most sense. Feelers make decisions based on what feels right. How does this decision affect the people involved? Yeah. Two completely different motives for making decisions. The fifth is time. Judges want to make decisions, want to plan their work and work their plan, want to get things done, plan, execute, move on, decide, act, move on. Perceivers, happier to keep things open, see how things go. Let the chips land how they will. Let's see what tomorrow brings. More patience, more future based. Judges are very much now based, perceivers are more future based. And then finally, identity. There's two functions for identity. One is assertive. I don't care what people think of me. I'm confident as I am. I'm not competitive. I don't care how I rank in, how I look in the rankings, how I compare to others. I'm comfortable in myself. I don't need to do comparisons. I don't need to compete. I don't need to prove myself. I don't need you to think certain things of me to feel secure. Turbulence do care what others think, are more competitive, do want to see themselves progressing, are concerned by the opinions of others. Now, those five functions dictate all our thinking and all our behavior. You've got your own combination, and so has every single one of your buyers. And if you've got the opposite types to your buyer, they won't buy from you, and you won't know why. But after today, you're going to have a much better idea of why and also what to do about it. So there's your introduction. So, question: which ones are your preferences? So even if you've not taken the test, you'll already know what your preferences are here. Which one is the best? What's best, extrovert or introvert? What's best, an intuitive or a sensor? What's best, a thinker or a feeler? Who's the best salesman or salesperson? An extrovert or an introvert? That's a huge debate, that one. Who's the perfect customer? Who do you naturally connect with? Who do you struggle to relate to? Who finds it easiest to buy from you? Who finds it most difficult to buy from you? And what can you do about any of this? I'm going to answer those questions right now. How to recognize the personality types of buyers. Now, before we dive into it, I've got one step. This is step one. One little persuasion secret, covert persuasion secret I'm going to share with you right now. And this is the only thing you can safely transfer from you to them, right? We just qualify that. A few minutes ago, I said, the old style of selling back in the day was try and transfer your energy to them in terms of enthusiasm and passion and all the rest of it, and try and sell them your personality. Today, it's about matching their personality. But there's one very subtle thing you can do to transfer energy to them. And it's exactly that. Okay. Zig Ziglar said 100 years ago, Zig Ziglar, the godfather of sales, said 100 years ago, sales is a transfer of emotion. Now, he was more right than I think he knew, because since then, quantum physics has proven that sales is emotion transfer. Quantum physics has proven how emotion moves from one person to another. And the first thing you sell is your state. That's the first thing you sell. You don't sell yourself, you don't sell up your product, your company, you don't sell a problem, you don't sell your solution. The first thing you sell is your state, your emotional state. When you first meet somebody, the first thing that automatically gets sold, gets transferred, is the dominant emotion you're feeling when you immediately meet them. Okay. And emotions last 90 seconds in the body. So whatever emotion you've generated immediately before you meet them, within 90 seconds of meeting them, that's the first emotion they pick up on, because of mirror neurons in the brain. It happens automatically, whether you agree with this or not. Doesn't care. This is basic biology. It happens automatically. You get the vibe. You get a little sample of what they're feeling. So the very first thing you can do to influence, and the only piece of this that's not mirroring them, is the one thing you can do, the one little subtle piece of superpower and intelligence you can use immediately before you meet them, is generate the emotion that you want them to feel. Right? You want them to feel fear, go in feeling anxious. You want them to feel disconnected from you, go in feeling apathy, go in feeling aggression. Right? You want them to feel good, go in feeling grateful. Go in, imagine before you meet them, if they'd already said yes to you, how would you be feeling? What would you be feeling in your mind and your body? What would you be feeling if they'd already said yes? I want to buy from you. How would that be feeling? What would your emotion be? Create that, because that's the very first thing they're going to feel. If you can create that gratitude, it's the healthiest emotion, before you go in, immediately before you meet them, on screen, face to face, even on the telephone. It even shows up in your emails, the energy you're feeling at the time you write it, or a text. It shows up everywhere. Whatever that energy is, if you can create gratitude immediately before you meet them, that gratitude that comes from them already having said yes to you, that's the first way you can influence their emotion, and they'll get a taste, a sample of that gratitude, which puts them in the right frame of mind. That's the one little thing you can do that can still be a way of influencing their feelings. That's the one thing. Okay. Now what you need to do is become like them. And this comes from the unity principle. Cialdini, Robert Cialdini, one of the world's most famous experts on persuasion, the six principles of persuasion, he rewrote the six principles of persuasion and added a seventh principle: unity. Okay, unity is the six principles of persuasion: with reciprocity, scarcity, liking, consensus, social proof, and authority. Okay, that's what they all were. And I do a separate training on those as well, which is for another day. But he rewrote those and added a seventh: unity. Because unity is a principle of persuasion, is if we feel unified in something, we will want to buy from each other, want to work together. And this is unification about a belief, a principle, an organization, somewhere we've both worked before, a belief we both share, a job we both share, something we both like, unity, something we both care about, where we have real common ground, something that around which we feel a sense of unity. That's persuasive. Now, we used to take advantage of that technique back in the day by trying to file things, small talk, to pretend we cared about. That's false. They can spot that. The way to make the most of the unity principle today is to become like them. Because then they start to feel subconsciously, right? We don't have to consciously sell unity. Subconsciously, they start to feel that we're alike. And that's what this is about. It's about training the subconscious. Inception selling is about persuasion in the subconscious, not persuasion in the conscious. Because most selling today, most sales techniques are all about the conscious, the the visible persuasion and convincing. It doesn't work. But if you persuade the subconscious, below the radar, the invisible persuasion that goes undetected, covert, stealth persuasion, that's what works. Today you're going to be a master of psychology. Okay, persuading in the subconscious with the unity principle, and that's what this is about. So that's the first step. Second step is before you start discovering through conversation the style: extrovert, introvert, intuitive, sensor, thinker, feeler, judger, perceiver. Before you start discovering that, the second skill is to immediately start mirroring their energy. So if they're an extrovert and they're engaging with you, lots of talk, lots of gesticulation, lots of body language, match it. If they're an introvert and they're observing more, they're quieter, they're more relaxed, they're slower to speak. Match it. Match it. Match their physiology. How are they using their body to communicate? Match it. How are they using their words? Are they speaking fast and animated with lots of enthusiasm and talking about lots of things at the same time? Or are they more businesslike, more calm, quieter, calmer? Match it. Match the tonality. Is the tonality all over the place? Their frequency, is it up and down? Or are they more like a midnight radio host, 2 a.m. in the morning radio host like this? Okay, what's the overall energy? Start matching the energy. Okay, because that is how you begin to establish subconscious rapport, subconscious unity. We can all do this. Every one of us can spot behavior, spot energy, spot tonality, spot speed of speech, volume of speech, and start to match it. Every one of us can do that. Act like them. That's step 2. First step, just to recap, generate the emotion you want them to feel immediately before you meet them. Okay, and that will give you the best chance of setting you both up in harmony. Second, start to mirror their energy, their physiology, their tonality. Okay, so far? Good with that so far? Just put a yes in the chat if you are, or a no if you're not. Okay, good. Right, now number 3, now we're really getting into it, is identify their natural buying personality profile and deliver in their style. Okay, so let's talk about now. We're gonna take you right the way through the different functions. We're going to start with extroverts and introverts. Okay, we're going to go from one to the other, right? And you'll start to notice this in their behavior, in their interaction with you. Okay, so this is what you need to watch out for. Extroverts prefer social activity, social engagement. They prefer any social engagement. Anywhere where there's people, extroverts get energy. Introverts prefer selective social activity. So listen to their conversations, the way they describe their life, how they live their lives, okay? How they do business, how they engage with the world. That will give you a clue, okay? Extroverts get energy by being with people, lose energy when they're alone. Introverts lose energy when they're with people, gain introverts when they're alone. Extroverts prefer to speak, then think, then speak. Introverts prefer to think, then speak, then think. It's the complete opposite. Okay? Extroverts prefer to multitask, talk about lots of different things all at the same time, happily. Introverts want to focus one by one task, one subject at a time, please. So slow down for an introvert or speed up for an extrovert. Okay? Extroverts prefer subject overviews, big picture overviews. Introverts prefer deep dives into subjects. Extroverts have an outward focus, interacting with people, places, and things, confronting the world head on. Introverts have an inner focus, more concerned with the matter at hand. Extroverts prefer face to face discussion, eye to eye contact. Introverts prefer communicating writing, email, or text, or limited face to face, or prefer to watch, observe before engaging. Extroverts prefer to act and respond spontaneously. Introverts prefer to plan ahead with advance warning or agendas. Extroverts prefer to lead discussions. Introverts prefer to listen and respond to discussions. Extroverts prefer to share feelings openly and thoughts openly and opinions openly. Introverts prefer to share them more privately or selectively. Now, how can these two functions misjudge each other? Extroverts can misjudge introverts by thinking they're rude or even not interested, time wasters. Introverts can misjudge extroverts by thinking they're loud, aggressive, arrogant. But both are wrong. Extroverts simply get their energy from engaging with the world. Introverts get their energy from within and then engage. So spot the behavior of your customer, your counterpart, and mirror that behavior and deliver your sales conversation in their style. That's the first key learning point. So the old school of is if you're an extrovert, sell with a bunch of passion, as much passion and enthusiasm as you can muster. And that to some degree used to work, but it doesn't today. If you're an extrovert selling to an introvert, slow down. Take it one step at a time. Ask questions, listen, discuss, get opinions, get them to engage. The best thing you can do to get an introvert buying today is get them talking and listen. Listen them into buying. Don't try and talk them into buying. Okay, that's your superpower. Get an introvert talking and listen. Cool. One thing at a time. Ask questions. Slow down. Take your time. Move on. Have lots of stuff in writing and images and different ways of digesting material. Give them time to digest it. If you're with an extrovert, you can both talk at 100 miles an hour. They can keep up. That's not a problem. If you're an introvert selling to an extrovert, understand they need you to work at a faster pace to satisfy them. All right, let's move on. Okay, let's go to second function now, which is information. You've got sensors. These are buyers, people who take information through their senses, and intuitives, people who take information through their intuition. Sensors prefer the concrete facts. What are the facts of the situation? Whereas intuitives prefer, what are the possibilities here? It's the seen versus the unseen. Sensors look at how things are. Intuitives look at how things could be. Sensors prefer detailed information. Intuitives prefer the big picture or the overview. Sensors prefer to focus on their now, enjoying things as they are. Intuitives tend to focus on the future, on how things could be. Sensors are practical, trust experience. Intuitives are more creative and trust in inspiration. Sensors are more step by step in their processes and their instructions. Intuitives rely on their intuition to help them decide what to do. Sensors believe in reality. They trust reality with their feet on the ground. Intuitives were more into ideals, head in the clouds type thing. Sensors are motivated by doing things in the way they were intended. Intuitives want to change things to be better and new. Sensors are more motivated by how to, specific goals on how to get things done, how to do something, step by step processes. Intuitives, general purpose driven goals. Why are we doing this? What's the point of this? What's this for? Sensors, tried and tested solutions. Intuitives want to invent their own solutions. How can these two styles misjudge each other? Well, sensors can misjudge intuitives by thinking they're just dreamers, no grasp on reality. Intuitives can misjudge sensors by thinking they're small minded, negative, skeptical, anal. Right? Who's right? Both are right. But the key is Whatever your buyer is, that's the way you need to deliver. So you adjust your delivery to the buyer's preference, not just putting more effort into making your preference for delivering more powerful, more convincing. This is the big differential here, guys, between the old school style of selling, which is try and, so if you want to sell more, put more power into your natural style, put more enthusiasm and passion into your natural style. No, not today. Watch, observe, and learn their style and adapt your delivery to that. This takes practice, but you can start practicing this immediately. You're already experts on psychology, but I'm just pointing now to what you see, but don't have as practiced skills, as habits each day. Just as a result of attending this session without any more thinking, you will start to notice this stuff far more in the coming days. But with regular practice, you start to become an expert on this stuff quick, and more people will start buying from you because they feel more understood, because they feel you're just more like them, you're just more their style. They find it easier to get along with you. Then they'll start thinking, I want to buy from this person before they've even seen the product or got the price. You know that. I know that. How many of you guys here have bought from somebody, have decided to buy from somebody before you've heard the price, before you've heard their offer? How many of you have thought, I like this person, I'd like to buy from them, I can see myself buying from them, I want to buy from them? Hands up. Yeah, great. That's what, because you feel unity in their style, you feel understood. Now, they've still got to have a good product, right? This is all about balance, and none of this will get you 100%. That's sales, that's life. But I'm talking about getting you 50%. I'm talking about getting you the ones that you miss because they don't buy now and you don't know why, and it's because of the connection, lack of connection. Okay. Okay. So you're still going to have a good product and a good offer, but I'm not focusing on sales techniques today, product offers, closing, objection handling, discount, make irresistible offers, unique value propositions. I'm doing none of that today. That's for another session. Today is about unity in personality style, unity in behavior, unity in thinking, behaving, connection. People buy from people like them. I'm helping you to become more like the people you're meeting. To break that old belief, I've got to get them to like me. I've got to get them to like me. No, you've got to be like them. Simple, simple idea. Okay. Now, does this mean you stop being who you are and you just act like everybody else you meet? Isn't that inauthentic? Right? Big question. Well, look, this is just about adapting behavior. This is about growth. This is about understanding. Was it birds of a feather flock together? This is about really understanding that to connect with somebody, you have to adjust and don't force your position. Adjust, meet them halfway. But usually, when we talk about meeting people halfway, it's about negotiation of the conscious stuff, negotiation of terms and conditions. We'll meet in the middle. What we're talking about here is going earlier than that. We're talking about meeting on a subconscious level, being flexible with our personality, to allow in different behaviors and to move our behavior towards them. You have to completely become somebody else. You're still going to have your own charm and your own natural style, but in your delivery, become more like theirs. They will want to buy from you and they won't know why. Rather than right now, they're not buying and you don't know why. Okay, right. Let's move on to the third function, which is decision making. So we've done energy, extroverts and introverts, information, intuitive and senses, Let's move now on. About halfway through, by the way. Got about another 30 minutes left, guys. So if you're still with me, you're still hanging in there, good. Stay with us. Thinkers, feelers. This is decision making. How we make decisions. Thinkers make decisions based on what's the right thing to do, what makes the most sense, what gets the job done, and they like to analyze situations. Feelers are more motivated in decision making by how does it feel? How does it affect the people involved? How does it affect everybody who's involved here? How does everybody going to feel about this? So thinkers analyze situations. Feelers sympathize with people in situations. Thinkers take a logical approach, more objective. Feelers take a personal, subjective approach. Thinkers notice what's not right. What's wrong about this? Feelers tend to look at what's right. What are the reasons to do this? Thinkers like to watch and decide. Feelers like to be involved to decide. Thinkers like to make decisions based on principles. Feelers like to make decisions based on personal values. Thinkers like to take the long term view. Feelers like to take an immediate view. How's everyone going to feel straight away? Versus what's the long term business benefits here? The pros and cons. Thinkers like to focus on the difference in people's arguments and love debate. Feelers tend to try and focus on finding agreement and harmony in discussions and avoid debate. Thinkers tend to focus on cost and benefits, practical stuff. Feelers tend to focus on the impact on people. Thinkers, competence is the number one thing they care about. What's the right thing to do here? Feelers, others' experience is most important. How is everybody else going to feel about this? Now, how they can misjudge each other. Thinkers can misjudge feelers and think they're just over emotional. Just over emotional, just too emotional. Right? That's a standard feeling, a standard statement from a thinker. Just too emotional. Feelers can look at thinkers, they lack emotion, cold, uncaring. Those things are not right. It's just that they prefer different functions to make decisions. So become and be sensitive to the people you're selling to. I do a lot of work with B2C salespeople who sell in customers' houses. And very often when I teach this stuff, not always, none of this stuff's all the time. This is about recognizing when things apply. It's not 100%, but not always, but often the man is more of a thinker, the woman is more of a feeler. Often the man's more interested with the home improvement in terms of what gets the job done, what's the right thing to do, what's the best price, what's the best value long term, all that kind of stuff. The woman's more interested by how's it going to look, what's the color, what's the style, what are the neighbors going to think, how am I going to feel about my house, my home, how good am I going to feel? Totally different. So when you're talking to him, adjust to his style in your delivery. When you're talking to her, adjust to her style. This is really important, this one, not just for B2C, for everything. It applies to it all, but I just draw that example because there's different dynamics going on between the buyers. Thinkers use the word think. I think this, I think that. They'll give you opinions and thoughts. Feelers will say, I feel, this is how I feel. Thinkers won't show emotion in their face and body when they're talking. They'll be very deadpan. They'll use expressions like this. They'll move like this. That's the way things are. It's just the facts. That's how how I see it. Those are my thoughts. Feelers will show you their emotions in their micro expressions and in their way they move and then their facial expressions, and then their voice will tell you how they feel, and they'll use words like this is how I feel, and they'll use feeling type words and emotion type words. Watch it and adapt. When you're speaking to a feeler, reflect it. Put some emotion into your micro expressions, into your body language. Show them how you feel. Show them how it's going to feel. Talk feelings. Don't ask a thinker how they feel. And don't ask a feeler what they think, because you won't get it. You ask a feeler, you say, what do you think? They'll tell you how they feel. Ask a thinker how they feel, they'll tell you what they think. So it's about noticing this stuff and not trying to get your message across by being more forceful in the way you are. No, get your message across by adapting it to how they are. Thinkers and feelers, big one, that big one. Okay. Now, final two functions: judges, perceivers. This is about time. It's about our relationship with time. Judges like to get things done, make decisions, move on. Perceivers like to see how it goes, wait, think, reflect. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Judges want to make things happen. Perceivers are more happier to let things happen. Who's right? The world needs both. Okay? Judges prefer to define boundaries and establish closure. Perceivers prefer to leave things open, more loosely defined. Judges prefer a structure to life. Perceivers like to take life as it comes. Judges prefer to organize people and things. Perceivers prefer to learn or experience people and things. Judges prefer to take a firm approach. Perceivers prefer to take a flexible approach. Judges like to control the self and others. Perceivers like to behave spontaneously and be allowed to. Judges like to plan their work and work their plan. Perceivers like flexible, more casual work ethics and living ethics. Judges like making decisions and sticking to them. Perceivers like to postpone decisions or even rethink them, make decisions and then change them multiple times. Judges like to meet deadlines with spare time in advance. Perceivers will leave things right until the last minute. You've got somebody who's late in your life, right? And they're always late, no matter what the circumstance. Even if they catch a plane somewhere, they'll still be late for the next appointment. That's because shiny object syndrome. There'll always be something else to do in the meantime. Because these are people who are a nick of time are always late. And then there'll be other people, no matter what the circumstances, they're always early. It's because you've got a judge or a perceiver. Understand who you're dealing with. Judges prefer clarity to ambiguity. Perceivers prefer options that are less restrictive. They like freedom. Now, how can each function misjudge each other? Judges can think perceivers are time wasters. Don't get things done, don't care. Perceivers can think that judges are just in a rush to do everything, have no patience. That's not the case. Both are needed. Now, if you're a judge and you're with somebody who's a perceiver, who's a buyer, you need to give them a feeling that they've got flexibility to change their mind on certain options that you decide on now. That there's flexibility in the delivery. That they're going to have some breathing space. They're going to have a say. They're still going to have control. They're still going to be allowed some flexibility. This product's going to help them be more. So you need to sell the solution in terms of how it's going to help them live a more flexible life with options and freedom. Yeah. And also take care of the things in the life that they're missing that they don't do. So adapt your message to how they like to live. Yeah. That's how those two differ. Now, those are the four different functions. So now that you recognize yourself even better, because you recognize yourself there, right? You spotted your own style in as I've been going through those different functions. You've spotted your own style, right? Yes. Now you know how to spot each of the personality preferences in your buyers. How do you adjust your delivery of your sales process to match their natural buying style? How do you deliver your sales process to match the natural buying style so that 50% of them buy from you, because that's the potential. I mentioned earlier I've been in sales since 7 years old was the first time I started selling, knocking on doors, selling car washing services and services to help people with stuff around their house and errands and all the rest of it. That's how sales was. So it's 6 different decades, and I can't sell to everybody. Anyone that tells you they sell to everybody is a liar. But half the people I meet, I can sell to, or I can get buying from me. And this is a big part of it. This is probably 50% of the overall conversion rate that I achieve, that anyone achieves. My clients achieve 50% as well. But without this piece, you can't hope for a better conversion than 25%, 1 in 4. With this piece, it doubles your conversion, these skills of getting unity established on a subconscious level, adapting your delivery to match their buying style. This can literally double your sales without improving your other selling skills. How do you do it? Right, to sell to extroverts, here's some bullet points, right, in order to bring this session to a close in the next 10, 15 minutes. Okay. How to sell to extroverts. Talk face to face, look them in the eye, use gestures, speak with feeling. Keep the conversation going, keep them engaged, ask lots of questions, cover lots of subjects, but stay general. You don't need to do deep dives. Ask for immediate answers and reactions, and be prepared to give instant answers, thoughts, and feelings on all related subjects. Allow them to think aloud so they can develop ideas for themselves as they're talking, and they can change their mind as they go along. Get them engaged. How to sell to introverts. Don't interrupt them when they're thinking or talking. Let them respond in their own time. Wait and show them you're listening. Give them advance warning if you want answers, thoughts or feeling or opinions, or better still, something to read to prepare their responses. Agree an agenda beforehand with introverts. Always agree an agenda. Don't just meander through a sales call. Agree an agenda beforehand. Stick to one subject at a time and be prepared to do a deep dive on each subject, one by one at a time until they're finished, then move on. Don't ask for immediate action. Allow them to think about this and come to their own conclusions. Give them a little space to decide. It pays off with introverts. Encourage them to share their thoughts and listen to them intently. Listen fully. Don't interpret silence as agreement. Be patient. Okay? How do you listen fully? Stop rehearsing what you're going to say next. As they're talking, repeat what they're saying out loud in your own head to yourself. That's active listening. People say active listening, but nobody defines it. That's what it is. It's taking what they say and repeating it in your own head as they're saying it. That way you'll never forget it. It's like when you meet somebody. Oh, I forget people's names. Yeah, because you don't look them in the eye, shake their hand, and as you're doing it, say their name while looking at them. Practice that if you forget people's names. When you first meet them and they say their name, you shake their hand and you say their name as you're touching them and as you're looking them in the eye. That cluster of body language, eye contact, and speaking. Paul, John, pleased to meet you. Mary, Paul, Mary, lovely to meet you. As you're looking them in the eye, as you're connecting with them physically, saying their name back to them, you won't forget it. Right? Okay. To sell to senses, focus on concrete facts. Explain the steps involved in the correct sequence and the correct order. Emphasize immediate and short-term benefits. Identify relevant experience and other successful applications. Select the next practical step. Who will do what, by when. Keep things to facts, logic, detail, structure. To sell to intuitives, Describe the big picture overview before the detail. Explain the meaning of information and data and the insights it provides. Emphasize long-term benefits over short-term advantages. Discuss the most important steps in a process in order of importance instead of step-by-step chronologically. Be innovative in your style and enthusiastic in your delivery. Identify opportunities and challenges and sell ideas to achieve or solve problems. How to sell to thinkers. Be logical in your arguments. Find out their criteria and satisfy the criteria they use to evaluate options. What's most important to you? What are the steps you're going to take before you make your decision? What are the things that you want to establish and have satisfied before you make your final decision? Get to understand their process, get to understand their buying criteria. Maintain a business-like approach. Focus on underlying principles, problems, and solutions. Be transparent with costs. Give your prices early. Tell people what's going to happen and show all tangible benefits. No surprises. Don't avoid conflict or debate. That's how they validate opinions. Thinkers are comfortable with debate and disagreement. Encourage honest and open discussion and debate options. How to sell to feelers. Focus on areas of agreement. Show them appreciation for all their thoughts, ideas, and opinions. Recognize and validate their values and principles. Be friendly, expressive, and open. Identify who else is for the idea, who's against it. Seek harmony. Demonstrate the positive impact on people. Social proof is huge for feelers. Be constructive in all areas of debate. Don't criticize. Offer win-win solutions. Give them hope. Make them feel power. Make them feel right. Don't ever tell them they're wrong. Make them feel seen, heard, and empathically understood. And my favorite for selling to feelers, encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. Super powerful. I learned that from a guy called Blair Warren in his 2005 book and training course, the One Sentence Persuasion course, which is that one sentence there, 27 words. Encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. I do a separate training on that. But that's how to sell to feelers. How to sell to judges. Have a clear goal for the meeting and an agreed agenda that you follow. Stick to agreed timescales. Be predictable. If you need to change things, give plenty of notice. Keep track of where you are. Don't meander through the meeting. Focus on covering a subject, reaching agreement, then moving on to the next subject. And don't reopen what's already been concluded. Agree when all next actions will be undertaken and by whom. Stick to your word and deliver on all your promises. Don't leave any doors open anywhere. Close off discussions with a yes or a no decision and show that you've planned for any and all surprises in your follow through. Lastly, how to sell to perceivers. Adapt to their agenda. Invite them to create a collaborative, loose agenda with overall goals rather than a set in stone structure. Be prepared to review discussions after they've been made if new information or discoveries come to light. Encourage them to make safe micro decisions throughout instead of one big yes or no decision at the end. Allow them flexibility to change their mind on options and choices as far as you possibly can. Expect things to overrun. Allow plenty of time for deciding and for and against, including all the arguments, all the pros and cons, then stay in touch to hold their hand through the process of fulfillment step by step. Remember, guys, mastering this is going to make it possible for you to start converting an extra 1 in 4 to sold. Taking your overall conversion to 1 in 2, doubling your sales, doubling your income, without improving any of your other selling skills. What are your biggest takeaways from today? Type them in the chat. What are your biggest takeaways from today? Pop them in the chat. Love to get your feedback. How do you master this over the next 30 days? What implementation support? What extra training, on-demand tools, resources, and day-to-day questions and requests will you have? Right? You're in the, most of you guys here in the audience are in the Inception Sales Club. Some of you aren't. If you're not, take a look at it. The link is, I'll pop the link in the chat in a second. But for those of you that are, ask questions. Watch the replay. Come in there and tell me what your takeaways were. Tell me what your challenges are. Start testing. Come back in each day, report back how it's gone, what's worked, where you need additional help. Give me your questions, I'll give you the answers. Any other resources you need, let me know. All right? The next session, guys, next week, next Sunday, is a session on covert persuasion with the 5 whys. This is now about the external, more conscious selling skills with the 5 whys. Why, wish, wait, win, wait. A 5-step covert persuasion system. Next Sunday, 7:30 to 9 p.m. UK time for all Inception Sales Club members. So, guys, I want to thank you for joining today. Hope you've had a great session. Okay. Yeah, got some good feedback in the comments there coming, guys, which is excellent. Well done. Appreciate that. Right. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. It's now 3:45 a.m. Monday morning here in Bali. It's now approaching 8:45 p.m. Sunday. I wish you all well. I'll see you, for those of you who are Inception Sales Club members, I'll see you in the group. Come into the group. Let me know what you thought of the session. Give me any extra questions you've got, and I'll answer them. Take care of you there. Otherwise, for those of you that aren't, take a look at the Inception Sales Club. I'm going to pop the details in the chat for you in a second. And have a great week. See you soon. Every success. Thank you.